This is Not Holloway, aka Fados. So I'm the lead developer and founder of Lytix, and today I'm going to show you all how to set up a maxnode. So maxnodes are pretty similar to masternodes in the setup. Pretty much most of the commands are going to be, if you're used to masternodes, they're going to be similar. Instead of master, it's going to be max. So I kind of made that simple so everyone that knew how to make a masternode would know how to make a maxnode. So maxnodes are a little bit different. They don't have all the same functionality as a masternode. They are going to house our data APIs and also be kind of the gateway to the entrance to our third tier, which is going to be where a lot of the API driven type of services are going to be held. So to set one up, you need 100,000 Lytix. So make sure you have that before you get going. And what you're going to need, you're going to have your 100,000 Lytix in your wallet, which is right here. So I'm going to show you some examples that are in testnet. So they're going to be a little bit different than what is in mainnet, but I think I will point out those differences, and it should be easy for you to figure that out. What you're also going to need too is a VPS. So I have VPS kind of set up here. I'm already looking at the log files, so it's good to go, it's ready. So let's go ahead and get started and get this maxnode rolling. So you're going to go to, in the cold wallet, you're going to go to tools and debug, and you're going to go ahead and create that maxnode key. So you type in maxnode gen key. That'll create the private key that we're going to use here, and we're going to use that on the VPS. The next thing you want to do is get the account address for this new maxnode 1, and that'll give you the address that you're going to use to send yourself 100,000 Lytix. So when you send yourself this amount, it's actually just going to yourself. So you're paying yourself. However, you're going to use that as, it's going to lock that as collateral to enable that maxnode, so you can get those awesome rewards. Alright, so let's send this money to ourselves. You can send to address and copy that there, and it's 100,000. So there's that. Okay, there's the address. Now for the actual amount to be so you can activate it and get it going, you're going to need 15 confirmations. So what you'll need after the first confirmation is going to be the output, so that this payment will then get entered into the block, and then it will show up as a, you're going to need that hash of that block and the transaction ID from that hash of this particular transaction. So like I said, we're on mainnet, on testnet, so we're going to kind of generate some traffic, and apologize for the little things that pop up. That is kind of annoying, but like I said, this testnet, things are a little weird, so let's clear these off the screen. So apologize for that. Okay, so we can go back over here and go to our transactions, and this right here is going to be that payment to yourself, and so we can double click on that. That has 11, so we'll need a couple more, but however, that'll give us that first one that we can use for our to find out what the transaction the output ID is. So we type in maxnode outputs, and this one was, let's see, we had 2C32, and that's right here. I have an output ID of 1. So let's go ahead and pop open our maxnode file, and so you go to tools, open maxnode configuration file, and see a couple commented out here. So this was called maxnode 1, and I'm going to click over here on a VPS and get my IP address. And so I have 45.32.202.96, and I'm going to copy that over here because I already have a few entries, a couple of failed attempts. So, and then you're going to do semicolon, and then you're going to also look for the port. Now on mainnet, you're going to want to do 27071. So if you're setting this up on mainnet, use that port. Because we're in testnet, it uses a different port, it uses 72. So like I said, mainnet 71 is the same one that's actually in the example right up here that's in every single file. So you don't need to remember that, it's already right there for you. Okay, so now we need to get our key that we generated right here in the Maxnode gen key. Copy that, and like I said, there's going to be a space right here after that port, and we're going to copy that and paste it, get another space, and we're going to come back over here to where we got that confirmation or transaction. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put that right there, and then like I said, that's your kind of proof of purchase that you actually have paid for the Maxnode. Now this is also important, so don't forget this part, the output ID. So this is the 2C, so let's go back, 2C, okay, and it's output ID of 1. So we will put that 1 there. Let's save this file because that is completed. Close it. Now let's go to our VPS, and I'm already in the .lytix directory, so I'm just going to edit the lytix.conf file. Going to enter this. Now if you're running VPS, you don't need, like I said, this is testnet, you don't need that, and you do not put that into on mainnet because you don't need it. It's this just says, hey, I'm on testnet, so it automatically start testnet. You don't need that. Some other useful things is if you're running a daemon is if you just want to stop and start things without having to do a bunch of other cool commands, you can type in listen 1, daemon 1, server 1, and those will all you may not really need to listen, but these other two are kind of necessary for you to kind of start and stop things without having to put in ampersands or any other kind of silly stuff. So I'm editing this VI. I'm going to hit my I for insert. I'm going to do maxnode equals 1. I'm going to escape to get out of insert. O to put in the thing underneath, and it's maxnode priv key, and that equals, and so I'm going to go back up here, get that key, and I'm going to insert that here, copy that, escape, bang X, and then there we go. Now I like to start this one, restart the VPS first and get that going, so I'm going to stop that. I'm going to check for the process to see if it is still running. It is not, because all it returned was my grep. So let's start the process up. There we go. And I'm going to tail this log file. Now if you are in prod, and the debug log is going to be directly in your .lytix directory. Like I said, I'm in testnet, so it's going to be over here. So I'm going to pull that up. Now I've already done this side right here, so let's just close that up and reopen it. So it's necessary to restart these processes. That way, anytime you make any changes in the configuration file, unfortunately they don't dynamically read those. Maybe that's a feature request in the future, who knows. But anyway, so we should see now, if you go down to Maxnodes, now we see that Maxnode as, it read that configuration file and has populated these values. Now I remember that we have 11 confirmations, we need 15, so we're gonna have to kick off a couple more of these annoying mining things and get some more confirmations. So like I said, you can't do that in prod. I think we got enough. It's filling the screen full of silly stuff, so let's clear all these off. And look at that reward, 10,000. Wouldn't that be nice in prod? Yeah. Okay, so we are now good. Go down to this payment, we double click it, 22 confirmations. We're over the amount that we need. I'm going to hit enter here because I like to see a nice clean message when it pops through. Okay, so go down to Maxnodes. My alias is selected right here, Maxnode 1. I'm ready to start it. I'm ready to get some rewards. I'm ready to get this thing going. So I hit yes, and you get the successful, and then you get this really awesome message down here about it being enabled. You may shut down the cold daemon. that's the best thing you can get, because that means that both sides have talked and that everything is good. Now I'll tell you that, you know, of course I make mistakes in configuring these things, so some things that you might do that might sometimes it may not connect would be if the keys are not the same. Maybe you're missing a value, maybe the IDs are different. So if you don't get this message right away, then check those things. So go back and kind of take a look at what is in each of these files. So I can't tell you how many times that I messed up, that I had the wrong value set on the server, and then, you know, of course I never did get this message. So another thing you can do too is, I'm going to Control C that, is you can check on the server itself, Maxnode status, and then that will give you the information here. So it's been successfully started. So now it's going to be, you know, going into that maturing phase, which usually takes about say about 2 to 3 hours. So even though this right here says it's enabled, it's actually still in an active status. Let's pull this up and we can do another command, list maxnodes, and that will pull up all of the active or enabled maxnodes. So let's see, what was our value? It was 2C3. Okay, so our KLN 2C3. Okay, here it is right here. So we have that 0 and it's ready to go. So it's active. And after about 2-3 hours it'll be enabled, and within, I don't know, 5-6 hours it'll start receiving rewards. So and if any time you decide well, you know, I don't want this Maxnode anymore, all you have to do is come back in here, hash that out, save it, and restart. And so that locked amount of 100,000 is now unlocked and it's free to spend. So it's a no risk type of environment for you. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this. We'll have more videos later on. Thanks. Take care.